my dear friends, welcome to my new video, and today I will talk about two thread seams that you can make on this serger, on this overlocking machine. This is a Singer, the model is 14SH754, but if you have different models like 14CG754 or 755, this video will also work for you, because each of these machine has an option for two thread stitching. So the manual showing just two different types of two thread seams that you can make on this machine. But if you saw my previous video, I was showing 4 different types of seams that you can make with two threads on this machine. So I will show you more detailed how to make this regular overlocking seam with the two threads, how to make two different types of rolled hem, and also how to make this beautiful flat lock. I will show you how to use this little pin to disable the upper looper that we will not use for two thread stitching. And also I will show you how to set different tensions for both threads for different types of seams. So let's begin. So for the two thread seams, you will need to use only one needle. So you will have two options. You can use either or the right needle or the left needle. It will change just a little bit the width of a seam from about 3.5 millimeters to 5.5 millimeters. So I choose to have my right needle, so I took the left needle off. I also cut off the thread that goes to the left needle, and the right needle I have threaded in the normal way. And also for two thread seams, we will need to use only the lower looper. So I threaded it also as usual, but the upper looper, I cut off the thread that comes right after the tension plates. And the looper itself, we will block with this little detail. See, this little white detail. So if you buy used overlock, make sure that this detail comes with it, and we will block it in the way how it is shown on this little scheme over here. You see, we will insert it into this little opening over here. See, and we will kind of push it behind this part, behind the looper, and we'll insert it from the behind in this opening. You see, like that. In this way we will block the looper, so we will insert it in the opening where usually we pull our thread. So you see, in this way, how it is shown over here. So we lock it in this way when we will use our machine. See, the thread will not go in the top of the looper, and also will not interact with the looper thread at all. See? So first of all, we can stitch just a regular overlock seam. So it is very, very flat. We need to adjust a little bit the tension of the needle thread to make it a little bit loose. So our goal that the needle thread will make knots with the looper thread just at the edge of the fabric. So let's try it one more time. So now you can see just two thread overlock. So it goes perfect from the one side and also from the another side, and we have knots forming just at the edge of the fabric. See, this is how it's supposed to be done. This type of seams save us a lot of threads, of course, and it forms the minimum bulk at the edge of the fabric. Another option that we can make with two threads, it's a rolled hem. For this we will set the overlock for rolled hem position, so we will pull this little lever towards ourselves, and also I will move knife closer to the needles to decrease the cutting distance. to decrease the width of the allowances. Okay. Of course, for different fabrics you will use different widths, but I will use it almost to the minimum. Okay, and then we will stitch. I will use also thinner fabric. This type of seams will work better on thinner fabrics because it also will reduce the bulk at the edge of the fabric and also will make it more like lighter looking. So this is another seam that we can make with 2-thread option. See? Of course, if you are using this seam as a rolled hem, you may want to set shorter stitch lengths so that fabric along of the edge will be covered more tightly. But if you are using this setting just as a tiny overlocking seam, just for example, like for very tiny, like light weight fabrics, this setting will work how it is as well. Another type of rolled hem you can make if you set needle thread tension much higher, like about like in a half, like in the middle position, or like between 3 and 4, even like close to 4, and the looper tension you will lose, like close to 1. Okay, like between even 0 and 1. And now I will stitch other side so you can see the difference. So in this seam we can see that our looper thread is covering both parts of a seam, the front part and the back part. And our needle thread is forming just a straight line and we almost cannot see it. And our previous seam, we can see that we can clearly see our needle thread. It is covering the back part of a seam, and the front part of a seam is covered with the looper thread. So for different types of seams, for different types of fabric, we can use different settings. Of course, if we set for this type of seams the shorter stitch length distance, then the covered part of a seam will be looking much more accurate. And we can use it for like thinner fabric, for very light, like chiffon fabric as well. So by changing the thread tension for both these threads, for the lower looper and for the needle thread, you can change the appearance of the rolled hem seam. So I will return all the settings to the regular position, from the rolled hem to the regular seam. And now I want to show you another seam that you can make with 2-thread setting. It's a flat lock seam, and I think this is the biggest advantage that 2-thread setting has. For example, my another overlocking machine, serger Juki MO50, doesn't have this option. And this characteristic was in the list of my priorities when I was choosing a serger here. And also for a 2-thread flat lock seam, we will keep our needle thread tension in the lowest position. So for this seam I will use knit fabric, because usually we use flat lock for knit or stretchy fabric, like woven stretchy fabric. So I will use the fabric that we usually use kind of for t-shirts or for underwear making. So it looks like a regular 2-thread overlock, right? From one side, from another side, like the first one seam that we just made, like this one, right? Looks the same, but when we pull fabrics, you see two sides of our fabric in the opposite direction, we will kind of open the seam. So from the wrong side it will be looking like that, see, and from the right side, see, we have a beautiful flat lock, like imitation of flat lock seam. Beautiful. Of course it will be looking even better when you iron the seam, but in general you can already see looks very good on knit fabric. For me, a two-thread stitching option was in the list of my priorities when I was looking for a new serger, a new overlocking machine. And so far, I am very happy what this machine can do. If you have the same machine, please share with me your experience, how you are doing with the two-thread stitching. Do you use it? How often do you use it? And also if you learn new seams that you can make with the two-thread stitching option, like for example this beautiful two-thread flat lock. I absolutely love this type of a seam on this machine with the two threads option. So it will be very interesting for me to see your opinion and also see your questions if you have. In my next video I will share with you more detailed information about three-thread stitching option, about different types of three-thread seams that this machine can make. I will show you how to adjust different thread tension and how to make three-thread overlocking seam, different types of rolled hem, and also how to make three-thread flat lock seam as well. So stay tuned. I am wishing you good luck with all your sewing projects, with all your sewing goals, and I am really looking forward to see you in my next video. Bye for now. Ciao.